Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Excuse my voice. Just have a little bit of a sore throat today, but this live today is really important. So, I want to talk to you guys today about the problem with the adoption industry. Let me take a sip of water. So, for those of you who have been following me for a while, you know that I am an adoption lawyer. I've been in this space now for about 7 years, helping families finalize their adoptions and also helping families adopt children. And so I've been teaching a lot about adoption, the nuances, the pitfalls, what you should do or should not do. But today I want to talk about an issue that I think is highly overlooked in the adoption industry. And I think that needs to change. So, as a lot of you know, probably by now, if you are choosing to do a newborn adoption, what happens is that, you get matched with a birth mom. She basically, what that means is that she chooses your family to adopt her baby, right? So when you're doing that newborn adoption, you know that after the match happens, that the biological mom, after the baby is born, she can change her mind. Okay. And so we know that because mom has rights over her baby, obviously, so she can change her mind at any time. She can change her mind after the baby is born. But as the adoptive parents, or as those who have been walking this journey with the biological mom for sometimes it's a few weeks, sometimes it's like the day before the baby is born, but other times it's a couple of months before that baby is born, it can be pretty traumatizing to walk through so many months with the birth mom thinking that you're going to be adopting this baby and then finding out at the end of the day that she changed her mind. So I think that's a huge problem in the adoption industry. I have represented adoptive parents a lot over the past couple of years. And there was actually one that really broke my heart. I think the adoption was supposed to be about 3 weeks ago. They traveled from Nebraska to the state where mom was having the child. I think they had been matched with her for probably it had been more than 4 months, I think. And so they were excited, they were ready, they were going to be first time parents. So they traveled to the other state. Mom had the baby. Mom didn't want to meet them. So they were in a completely separate room in the hospital. And so the social worker brought the baby to the adoptive parents. And so they were holding the baby, bonding with the baby, just waiting for the papers to be signed so that they can come back home. Well, after a day, mom changed her mind and she decided, I don't think I can do this, which is absolutely her right to do that. Okay. But what ended up happening was my clients were obviously so heartbroken because, I mean, I think you can imagine why they would be heartbroken about this, right? And so that's, I think, one of the main issues that we have right now with the adoption industry is the idea that you match a biological mother with uh, a family who's willing to adopt the baby, that the adoptive parents pay money in hopes of adopting this baby, but we don't call it buying a baby. We call it like you're paying the money to the agency, blah, 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 blah. And that is what you're doing. And thank God for laws that are shielding all of that to make sure that people are not actually buying babies, right? That's a good thing. But the idea of a matching happening between an adoptive parent and a mom, a biological mom, and the adoptive parents thinking that they're going to be bringing this baby home hopefully, but then not really being sure, and then going all the way to actually holding this baby in their arms thinking, okay, she still says yes, and then mom changing her mind at the last minute is, I think, is absolutely horrible. And I think that's a huge problem in the adoption industry that needs to change. So what do we do? I mean, if you want to adopt a newborn baby, this is right now what you have to do. If you're working with an agency, they will tell you, and I would also tell you that you are doing this knowing that mom could change her mind, right? You're spending the money for the home study, you're paying the agency, you're paying all of these fees only to have it potentially be that you never actually adopt this baby. So, my question is, what the heck is the point? Why are we having adoptive parents pay all of this money when mom could change her mind at the last minute? Why are we doing it this way? Why does it have to be this way? Is it enriching the agency or the other professionals to have adoptive parents pay all this money, knowing that mom could change her mind? Or is this really the best way to go about the adoption? So I would suggest that there's a different solution because I really, really hate the fact that adoptive parents are basically strung along for all these months just to find out at the end of the day that the mom has changed her mind, which again, that is her right to do that. I don't have any issues with birth mom changing her mind. I have an issue with adoptive parents being strung along for so many months, thinking that the adoption will happen just to find out at the end of the day that mom changed her mind. I think that piece of the adoption process is terrible and that it needs to change. So, I want to know from you guys if you want to put comments under the video, what do you think could be a better solution for adoptive parents when it comes to adopting newborns? And I'm going to give you guys what I think would be a good solution. Again, excuse my voice. I just have a sore throat today. So, this is what I would suggest as an alternative to the way that the adoption industry is currently running when it comes to the way that adoptive parents are matching with birth moms and then they're getting strung along until baby is born and then mom changes her mind. So, what about this? How about we actually have biological mom work with an agency or a consultant, whatever professional, all the way up to the time that she gives birth to the baby. There is no matching happening with the adoptive parents, no matching. It's just mom is going along this journey and she's decided that she wants this baby to be with a family. So the professional could say, okay, we will have a family ready for you if you do choose to do the adoption after the baby is born. Okay. So the entire time of her pregnancy, there is no matching. There is no adoptive parents, talking with her and thinking this is going to happen and all these emotional craziness that's going on with the matching process. Why don't we just cut that out completely? And we wait for mom to have the baby. Okay, so agency professional works with the biological mom until the mom gives birth. And then after the mom gives birth, obviously the caseworker is like, "Hey, are you sure this is still something you want? You can change your mind. I mean, there's no parents waiting to take this baby, so you can decide to take this baby home. It's all good. Or if you still want to move forward with the adoption, we do have families who will be willing to adopt this baby. But we're not going to connect you with those families until you are certain that you want to place this baby for adoption." Now, I think that would be a better way to approach the adoption process is so I think what also happens with that solution is that there is no pressure being put on the bio mom after she has met with this adoptive parents and she's been talking with them all these months. There's no pressure on the birth mom to feel like now she has to go through with the adoption because she feels bad if she changes her mind. Okay, because what happens with the current model is that on the one hand, bio mom, she knows that she can change her mind, but she feels bad because she knows that these adoptive parents have been talking with her and have been wanting to adopt this baby. And she told them that they could adopt the baby. And now she's basically changing her mind. So part of what's wrong with the process right now is bio mom feels bad. And sometimes she may decide to do the adoption because she doesn't want to disappoint the adoptive parents. That's terrible. It is terrible. It's horrible that there's so much pressure being put on not only the adoptive parents, but the birth mom to make a decision after baby is born. So my suggestion is let's cut all of that crap out. Let's have bio mom go through the process on her own with a professional. And if after she gives birth to the baby, she's absolutely sure, she's like, yep, I'm going to sign the papers. She can decide if she wants to meet the adoptive parents or not. But after she's sure that this is what she wants to do, then the caseworker goes through the list of adoptive parents and they can say, hey, a baby was born yesterday. Mom has decided that she wants to place the baby for adoption. Is this something that you do you think you'd want to jump into? And at that point, that's when the adoptive parents come in the picture. So it cuts out that entire couple of months of adoptive parents paying, waiting. They're not sure, but they're hoping, all of these things. And then bio mom is like, oh, I don't know yet. But like it just cuts out all of that. And I think it actually makes the adoption process a lot better emotionally for everybody involved because mom doesn't feel pressured to say yes because she feels bad. And adoptive parents don't have this pain, the horrible pain of holding a newborn baby in your arms, thinking that you're going to go home with them, only to find out that bio mom changed her mind. Okay. So that would be my suggestion. That's my solution. And I think that, like I said earlier, the idea of matching these families together, I understand that some of the thought behind that is that you want the adoptive parents to meet with the birth mom. Birth mom wants to be comfortable with the family and all that kind of thing. That's fine. But I think that the emotional pressure and the pain that's being built, I think that negates this idea that the adoptive family and the birth family working together from the beginning um, is better. And so, if you are going through the newborn adoption process now, comment below. Let me know how you're feeling about it. How do you feel about matching with a birth mom and not being sure whether she's actually going to go through with the adoption or not? And how are you kind of getting your heart ready if mom decides to change her mind at the end of the day? Okay, comment below the video and let me know. All right, well, guys, that is it for today. I'm going to come on here and talk more about other problems that I see in the adoption industry, but I want to hear from you guys what your comments are, what you're thinking about it, and if you guys also have better solutions that's going to make the adoption process smoother for everybody involved.